Hey man, I'm Bronson, and I want to talk about the Welcome to Wrath lore book PDF download that's free online that you can get. That's a really great read. I'm going to tell you in the beginning of the video how you can get it, how you can download it, and then I'm going to talk about, what I think about this product and go into a bit more at the end. But just getting the heart and the meat out in the beginning. So, on the Reddit group for the subreddit of the Fab TCG, I'll put a link below to a certain post, and in that post there was a user who had the PDF download and he put it on one of those file sharing sites, and there's a link in that post, and you click the link. When you go there, you have to put your email in. You put your email in, and it will send you a link to your email to download the file. Now, just to get it out there, I was not authorized to put the file anywhere. I did not put the file anywhere. I am just linking you to a Reddit subgroup where this guy said, hey, Legend Story Studio said it was cool if I took pictures of all the pages in the lore book and put it online. And I'm kind of trusting that person, but hey, use at your own discretion. Also, I don't know the compromisability of that website. I went it. I used it. I don't know if I got any viruses or not. Use at your own risk is basically what I'm saying. And if you are Legend Story Studios and you don't like this, your IP is being released on the internet for free for people to use, please let me know. I'll cancel this video. I don't want to compromise anything like that. But honestly, from what I know of how I've interacted with Legend Story Studios, they love when people love their game. So I'm more than positive that they're really happy that this is being distributed to people and people are actually getting to discover the world of Wrath that they created and really get into the game. Because I feel like you know the cards are one thing and the cards are fun, the gameplay is great, and the artwork is cool, but really understanding what the artwork means and really going into depth, it's really cool to get this book. And I'll scroll a little bit through so you can see a couple pages. So I really like how it's designed, like that feel of just like just really, the brown and with the gold outlay, and you can see that Solana is right here, and it's like casting light over all of Wrath. It's just really cool. And here you have your four heroes, the base four heroes in Welcome to Wrath, and it's really interesting how they're all like looking at each other. It's kind of interesting that way. um, but yeah, it's scrolling down, there's a nice little verbiage here, and see Dorinthia, she's having fun. And yeah, welcome to Wrath, acknowledgement section, contents. It's just really nice. And this is the what is it? The map of Wrath, which is pretty cool. Talks about the map. And then the regions. Someone had posted this on the subreddit, and it was really like when I didn't have this PDF book, it just kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is really great like verbiage for like each region and kind of understanding all the regions. So that really helped. And another thing that was really cool, and this was also on the subreddit, is the professions, and it shows like all the professions so far, and even some that haven't been announced. So there's assassin and alchemist and cleric. Like there's all these other like different you know professions and classes that haven't even been discovered yet. I mean, we have the brute, we have the ninja, we have the ranger and the warrior. We have these classes so far, but there's a bunch of other ones. And what's awesome too is on the bottom it says and many more. So you can really see that they're gonna make a lot of different classes. I mean, I can't promise anything to you guys, but if this is what they have now, and what is that, 12 right there? It's pretty crazy how they could have more than 12. Like, how many classes are there going to be in the next 5 years? Are we going to look at like 26 classes or something? I don't know. I can't answer that, but it's another testament to see that this game has potential and it has some really cool stuff. And I can't imagine how much further they're going to push this game, and how much more complexities and cool aspects it's gonna have. So I don't know. I thought this was really cool. Um, Other than that, we have more Solana, and they're talking about Solana here. Um, Yeah, I won't, go too far into depth of this book. I want you to explore it for yourself. I want you to discover all that it has and just really, get hyped about the lore and the artwork of Flesh and Blood because it's truly beautiful. And I just want to show you, like, back in the day, I really grew up with Dungeons and Dragons, and I really liked the books that they had. So I got this book. This is a D&D what is it, advanced D&D book. I never played D&D of this version. I started with 4E, but I love, honestly, these lore books. These things are awesome. Like, just having them and reading through them and hearing the different, like, stuff in the background, it's really great. Like, it's cool to hear what people created and the realms that they created, because when you play those types of games or any game, you're trying to immerse yourself. Everyone says RPG, 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 but do they actually think about what it stands for? It's role play game, man. You role play as a character. You actually play a different role other than Bronson. You're playing some other cleric, healer, or some other type of thing for a certain period of time. So I feel like this really helps people get into the game and be emotionally involved and actually role play into it. You figure out what the roles on these are, because when you're playing with the cards, it's really fun. The mechanics are great. I'm not dissing that, and the artwork is great, but when you hear the background stories to the cards, and you really understand it, and what you'll notice, guys, is the cards have, like, depth to them, and they also tell a story. The story is in the cards, which I think is beautiful. And I think the best person so far to do something is like that Dead Summer Art guy. Man, his videos are amazing, and he had like these, I think it was the Ira one. He has an Ira video where it shows like all the different history of like the lore of Ira, and why she exists and what she does. But what's awesome is he like implemented card by card throughout the whole story, and it really painted a whole picture, man, of the story of Ira, and what the Crimson Haze group is about. It's just really cool to see that, and I know someday there's gonna be more of that going on, and you're going to have some database type of thing that says, hey, these are all the cards of Welcome to Wrath, and here's all what these mean. These are the cards explained, and that's going to be really cool. And at this time period, though, I think it's even better. And if you're listening to this part in the story, or of the story, it basically is. I'm just rambling the shit out of this video. But what I'm telling you is this. Flesh and Blood, there's so much undiscovered territory. There's so many undiscovered things. There's not a lot of people into this game. There's not a lot of people especially trying to figure out the lore at all, because people are focused more on the mechanics and the gameplay and the pro scene and all that stuff and hype and investments and whatnot and collecting and all this stuff, but they really just don't even see what's in front of their eyes. So I'm telling you, man, like there's a lot of really cool stuff in the lore book, regardless of what kind of person you are. I was never into lore too much in the other D&D type stuff or in any other stuff. I thought it was cool and I like to read up on it, but I really feel like if I'm reviewing this product, I just think it's amazing. It's amazing what they do, what they've done with this book, and you know what's in it. I mean, just everything is laid out very beautifully, and it's just very well done. I mean, shout out to, I know, what is it, Robbie Wynn. He's the creative director. I'm gonna put him down. If you scroll down here, let's see. Let's go to the credits here. Acknowledgements. So the project lead right here, design MJ Fatezio. Um, that's the person who designed like mainly the artwork, I believe. And then you have Nikki Price right here. She did the writing. And then the big dude right here is Robbie Wynn. He did like the head of design. So he's a lot of the lore and the backstory. And James White has also assisted with him, and they've both talked through things together. I can't tell you who who gave what percentage of the lore of Wrath, but I'm under the impression Robbie's kind of like, the gatekeeper to that realm in a sense. So yeah, I mean it's just cool. And another one thing I want to point out, dude, guys, look at how many people are in the back of this book who actually made this book. They're not that many people. This is this is not this is a passion project for Legend Story Studios. They're a tight knit group. They're very nice people, and it's just crazy when you see the small amount of people that went into this beautiful product. So I mean, when you look through this, just know that it was made with a lot of love, and it's made with like a lot of cool people who are just friends and just making something that they're proud of, and I feel like it really shows through. It really shows at the end of the day when you have a finished product like this. It shows that these people care. This is not like just a desk job. They cared about making this product. So, I mean, I don't know too much what to say more about this product. I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was amazing. Something to note too is the volume one book, and it was put in the stores. I want to say this in the end because I know everyone probably knows this, but if you're listening to me now, like, so this lore book got put in all the stores for the Welcome to Wrath release. If you're a vendor and you bought all these kits, you got one of these books, so you could put it in your store and people could read through it and have a good time and really get involved into the game before purchasing the product, which was a great idea, I think. But it kind of turned into this like insanely investable product where like only only a few were printed, and to our knowledge so far not that many of this book exists in the world, and they've become insanely investable or collectible in some people's minds that are not mine, and they're paying like $400 to $500, sometimes 800. It's in the hundreds. I think that's kind of. I mean, yeah, you can do what you want with your money. It's no big deal for the first edition book. But I have a high certainty that they're going to reprint this version in like a second edition wave of this book. And, this is only volume one. They're going to make a volume two. They're going to make a volume three. They're probably going to make a volume four. And I think in my mind, what they're going to do is once they've done all their volumes, once they've told their whole frickin' story, I don't know how long it's going to go out into, like 2025 or whatever, they're going to make like some omni book, and they might make like one entire book that has all the volumes. That would be awesome, and I'd love to own that. Or they might make like separate books, and it says volume 1 through 5, and you have to buy each book. Either way, I think that is kind of their end goal. They've been working on this project for 7 years, so I've got to imagine that all the lore and everything is kind of fleshed out. And in an interview with James White, he's even admitted that, like, I think that they have like all the lore and the story in Welcome to Wrath. They have it 100 years back in the future and 100 years forward. So they have like 200 years of different like dialogue that they can speak to, and they know what's happening in the world. So I've got to imagine going forward, all this stuff is already done. They probably just have to commission the artwork and do a lot of tailoring and creating the book itself, but a lot of this is already fleshed out. But yeah, honestly, I just love the lore book. I I I know my review. See, the problem with me reviewing is I'm gonna always say it's amazing, but honestly, I I am insanely biased about this product. But it's the best lore book I've ever read in my life. I've read a good amount of like D&D stuff and other game lore and Magic the Gathering and whatnot, but this is the best lore I've ever written or read. I did not write this book. I wish I did because it's an amazing product, but no, it's the best lore that I've ever read, and it's really cool to see that it really not only is what it is, but it also merges with the cards itself and the mechanics, and you can see that there's a huge amount of synergy between these two things, and it really really blends very nicely, and it adds purpose and meaning behind the cards you play. So when you play cards, you're not just playing, Katsu, some random ninja in your mind. He has a backstory. He's a cool guy. He likes to do a lot of things in life, and you'll read it in the lore book of who he is, and why he is, and what's going on in his life. What are his problems in life. So I I really like it because of that. Because a lot of times in TCGs you're just playing cards and you don't know what the hell they're doing. You don't know what's up with their life. You're just like, oh well, that's a harpy. The harpy is just flapping its wings and doing its thing, but you don't really understand, like, well, what did the harpy have for breakfast, and what is the harpy's aspirations in life? What's the harpy's raison d'etre? You don't know any of these things, so it's really cool to really have that background to these cards, so when you see them, there's an emotional aspect. And that's what I'm really driving home. There's an emotional aspect because in the back of your mind, this is what's going on here. And I feel like Flesh and Blood versus any other trading card game, they don't try to create art because they think it's going to tailor to you. They're not like, what are people going to buy? What do people like to look at? Dinosaurs? Pirates? Let's do dinosaurs and pirates and vampires and werewolves and like, oh, what's the hot thing? What can we put on our card that people are gonna I screw all the time? No, they're not doing that, guys. And that's kind of what I'm but what I'm trying to articulate even more is like they are doing their own thing. They have a really good lore. They have this book. The book is amazing. They take the book and they take all the lore that they have in the background and they take the mechanics and they really like fuse them together in a really great way to where you have cards that have meaning behind them and just a lot of depth. And I say depth a lot and I feel like people, maybe bypass that word, but that really is the key word of the day. If this was Pee Wee's Playhouse, whenever I said depth, the bells and sirens would go off. Like that is like the word of the frickin' year. I'm telling you, man. Like it. Anyway, I know I'm rambling and I don't know what else to say more than that, but it's it's a great book. The Flesh and Blood cards, there's depth to them. There's a reason why you're looking at them, and it's just really a beautiful and refreshing game. And I love the game, and I love what they did with the lore and the art and the mechanics and everything. So I'll leave it off with that. And again, if you're interested in this PDF lore book and you missed the first 2 minutes of me talking, I'm going to put a link down below for a Reddit group and the Reddit link to where there's this one thread that had a guy post the PDF link. You just click that link, you go into that website that looks very like sketchy. You put in your email address. Please put in an email address that you don't really care about. I would recommend that. You put in that and then they'll send you a link. Once you go into that email address, you will find that they will send you a link in your email. You click it and you'll download the PDF and yeah, you'll get it. Again, I am not like I didn't upload it myself. So if you're Legend Story Studios, just reach out to me. I'll delete this video. Nobody really watches my videos anyway, so I just thought this would be a really good informative video for you guys because I've seen a couple of threads recently where people are like, hey, like I want to see the lore book, but I don't want to spend $600 for like 200 pieces of paper. And I'm like, hey, do you see the download? And they were very appreciative of me sending them that link, so I wanted to make a video about it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned something, and I hope you really enjoy the Flesh and Blood lore book because it's honestly it's a treasure hunt, and there's a lot of treasure to be found. Thanks for watching.